weather. It gives us life, and it takes it away.
The tornado has touched down.
You can't do anything.
It is a thing of staggering beauty and a destructive force, killing thousands every year.
The windows all blew out.
The whole thing's gone.
Holy crap.
It was the end.
It is gone. The building is gone.
And our warmer atmosphere is extra energy for our weather to unleash upon us.
Oh my God!
We meet the people who came face to face with Mother Nature and filmed it.
I've been fighting it for an hour.
I'm gonna sick to my stomach.
Holy! I just lost my house.
We hear firsthand how these people survived.
Oh my God! Get in the house!
He's alive. He's alive.
It's pretty much the end of humanity.
I was really convinced I would die.
Using their incredible self-shot footage, we stare straight into the eye of the storm. And witness up close the sheer force of nature.
Oh my God! Look at that!
Everybody take cover now!
Coming up in this episode, the strongest hurricane to ever hit the Western Hemisphere crashes into Mexico.
Watch out, Gus!
A tornado tosses trucks in Texas.
It just took those 18-wheelers and tossed them around like it was dominoes.
A biblical plague visits Madagascar. We witness how the weather can cause the world's most painful animal attacks. And in catastrophic floods in Louisiana, a woman is rescued from her sinking tomb. October 23rd, 2015. On the Pacific coast of Mexico, the tourist town of Manzanillo was on full alert for Hurricane Patricia, a Category 5, the highest rating there is. And this water spout caused by a mini tornado was a sign that the storm was just a few hours away. A 100 miles off the coast, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration monitored this extremely worrying hurricane by flying a plane straight into it.
I grew up as a pilot, and one of the things you learn early on is that you try to avoid the weather. So this occupation goes against every fiber of a pilot's being.
The storm had already flooded large areas of Guatemala, El Salvador, and Nicaragua.
So the same storm we had flown in the 2 days prior had sort of grown up on us.
The hurricane had been a rapidly intensifying Category 5, but to see how bad it was now, they had to fly into the worst part, through the eye wall.
The amount of rain, the amount of wind, noise was greater than I had experienced on a storm flight before. Actually reached the threshold of the aircraft limits.
Your adrenaline is rushing.
The winds were 215 miles per hour, the fastest hurricane winds ever recorded in the Western Hemisphere, and would be catastrophic if it hit a city. Hurricane Patricia was heading straight for Manzanillo, where teenager Roberto and his brother Ramon were excitedly getting ready for impact.
Mi hermano y yo para ver qué, o sea, lo que ocurría o cómo iba ahora sí que transcurriendo el tiempo de lo que caía el huracán. Pues no creo que sea tan feo como en las noticias lo decían.
The government planned to evacuate 50,000 people from the region, but Roberto and his brother decided to stay. 60 miles north, American freelance reporter Josh Morgerman is here to cover the hurricane.
Not only is this storm incredibly dangerous, the strongest ever on this side of the Earth, maybe the strongest hurricane ever on Earth, it's also very small core, very, very wobbly.
By 5 p.m., he's checked into a hotel in the small town of Emiliano Zapata.
People are just looking and waiting.
At this stage, the calm before the storm is a novelty for the young family and 2 staff staying here. But Josh made sure he was staying in the safest part of the hotel.
And here's the hotel where we're riding out this storm. We're actually staying in this room here. This is an interior room. As you can see, there are rooms on either side of it, which makes us feel a little safer.
And at 5:30 p.m., the storm was intensifying.
Pressure's dropping like a rock. We're down to 969 millibars, and we're getting waves of destructive gusts. But a side of me was just scared. I didn't want to die in this thing.
On the NOAA flight, they discovered the storm had swung north, straight towards Josh in Emiliano Zapata. At 6:27 p.m., it hit.
Everything just went nuts. Watch out, John! Okay, we think the hotel's starting to blow apart here. We heard a tremendous crashing sound, and that was a lot of the roof of the hotel had gotten torn off, and we saw the debris flying everywhere. And then we realized we were in trouble. Come in here.
As the hotel fell apart, 2 terrified staff and a guest fled to Josh's room.
What did he say? He needs to help. Oh, okay. Oh.
But the guest had left his wife and baby next door.
Get in here, come on! Don't worry, we're gonna be okay. Okay, this family, terrified people are with us, and we're riding out this storm. In a dark room, you can hardly see anything, I know, but we're standing in here, the family in the bathroom, waiting for this storm to pass, and it's scary stuff. It is scary stuff. Okay. Everyone in here. Everyone get in here. Get down. Okay. Everyone get in. And shut the door. You know, we're really concerned because the roof on our part of the building had stayed on, but if it blew off, we were all going to be dead.
60 miles south, teenagers Roberto and Ramon had ventured outside to do some amateur reporting of their own.
Impresionante lo que está pasando aquí en la caseta de Coyotlán, donde estamos refugiados, cuando está en uno de sus momentos más fuertes el huracán.
Then the winds ramped up to around 100 miles per hour.
Ahí fue cuando te digo que ahora sí sentí pues miedo, porque pues dije, no manches, nunca había vivido algo así, no quiero volverlo a vivir.
What they didn't realize was that an ocean surge of water could sweep in at any moment and wash them away. At 7 p.m., Josh and the hotel guests had to improvise a new roof.
Okay, we're gonna get the mattress, we're gonna bring it in the bedroom. In the bathroom, we're gonna barricade the door. So we have the now we're bringing a mattress into the bathroom. Yes, let's put it up. Okay, okay. Yeah. And you can see we made a ceiling of the shower stall with the mattress because we weren't sure if the roof was gonna come off. It did. I think a lot of the roof of the hotel did come off, but not off this room.
Back in Manzanillo, Roberto and Ramon were watching the storm surge rush in over where they'd been standing minutes earlier.
Pues te digo, es que era un departamento, no estaba muy grande, porque pues ese lugar pues, como era muy alto, y luego imagínate, pegando todo el viento y se llevaba cosas, no queríamos arriesgarnos.
They'd retreated up to their apartment, but 4 floors up, the wind was even faster. It was now too late to evacuate, so they just had to hope their windows held out. By 8 p.m., the storm had passed over, but this was the second most powerful hurricane in the world, and it moved north, causing chaos as far away as Texas before blowing out.
In Bexar County, they're pulling the patient out at this time.
The next morning, Josh discovered just what a lucky escape they all had.
This is the room of the family of 4 that joined us during the storm. The roof and ceiling totally blew away. The ceiling fan came smashing down on the bed. Thank God no one was hurt. The roof had stayed over a couple of rooms, and one of those rooms was ours. So we were just lucky that our room didn't totally blow open like the other ones, because people would have been injured or killed.
Down in Manzanillo, Roberto and Ramon had to face Mom and Dad.
Y pues sí, a mí me regañaron horrible y a mi hermano porque no manches, dijeron, ¿cómo chingados graban si no están viendo lo que está pasando?
His whole family had been in an emergency shelter, but his auntie returned to find her house ruined.
Y todos se pusieron muy tristes porque pues ahora sí que perdieron su único lugar donde vivían.
Hurricane Patricia destroyed 10,000 homes and farms, but missed all the major cities nearby. If it hadn't, the casualty count of 8 people would have been a lot higher. But Roberto learned an important lesson.
Que últimamente han pegado más huracanes, pero pues categorías así bajitas. Ahora sí que mejor prefiero estar en mi casa resguardado viendo la tele.
As well as punishing us directly, the weather can inflict plagues of animals upon us, some more harmful than others. In Wuhan, central China, the heaviest rainfall in 60 years floods large areas, affecting 32 million people. Fish from the Yangtze and Han rivers fill the streets. But the water creatures aren't all harmless. Elsewhere, 100 crocodiles escaped from a farm. In the city center of Acapulco in Mexico, the region's crocodiles are also on the loose. The storm surge from Hurricane Manuel sweeps this one into the streets from an overflowing lagoon. It's not clear who is most scared of who, but residents do eventually capture it. What they do with it after, no one is sure. This swimming pool owner filming in Florida has a shock when he goes into his backyard. The alligator was escaping the worst drought in 56 years during the American heat wave of 2016. The pool owner calls in a professional trapper to catch the 8-foot beast. The trapper still has 10 toes, even though he appears to work with no shoes.
Oh my gosh. So yesterday we were down here and maybe like a third of the beach was covered with these guys. Now, look at this. The whole beach is covered with them. It's a sea of dead little tuna crabs. Oh my gosh.
The tuna crabs in Newport, Southern California, usually live 600 miles south, off the Baja Peninsula in Mexico.
Look at this. These ones happen to be all dead. There's little survivors out there.
However, California's waters are getting warmer and warmer, and their appearance in 2016 is thought to be linked to the El Niño effect. Unfortunately, despite looking like tiny crawfish, they are inedible because they may have fed on toxin-producing plankton. In Oklahoma, a flood has left a bull snake concealed on the pavement. The snake clings to the man's leg, biting him before retreating. The flooding has driven the snake from its natural home. But bull snakes aren't poisonous, and the bitten man later returns the snake to dry grassland, where it normally lives. But perhaps the ultimate weather-induced snake nightmare took place in Thailand in 2016. A 38-year-old Thai man was minding his business on the family throne when a 13-foot python sunk its fangs into his family jewels. He screamed for his wife, and for half an hour the pair thrashed around the tiny toilet, fighting the snake. Seconds before passing out from blood loss, the man had the ingenious idea of strangling the snake with a rope and prizing its fangs apart. Incredibly, no living thing was permanently hurt, and the snake, which had crawled up the sewage system in search of water, was returned to the wild. November 2012, Madagascar. It was the beginning of the wet season, but a biblical plague was descending. Exodus verse 10, "They shall cover the face of the earth, and shall eat every tree which groweth for you out of the field." For school children in the capital city, it was a welcome diversion. But ordinary people like Olivier Gallet were worried. For 80% of families in Madagascar who are farmers, locusts are a disaster. Florentine is a farmer from Sakaraha in the south, and overnight her rice harvest is gone.
Sometimes we manage to eat, but there are times when we go to bed on an empty stomach. My children had to stop going to school because we couldn't afford to pay their fees.
Just one medium swarm eats 100,000 tons or 4 cargo ships of food a day. But 2 months later, Hurricane Haruna flooded half the country, as well as being a disaster in its own right, leaving 14,000 people homeless and 26 dead. It also created the perfect breeding conditions for swarming locusts. Each locust multiplied at a rate of 75 eggs per month over the 6-month rainy season. By March 2013, thousands of swarms literally covered 50% of Madagascar, threatening millions of lives.
The challenge is that at the beginning of the recent plague in Madagascar, we estimated that the food security of 13 million people was at risk. It's just a disaster.
Annie Monar from the UN Food and Agriculture Organization had the job of trying to eradicate 77,000 square miles of locusts. Conventional pesticides would ruin the ecosystem, so they developed a special biopesticide made out of mushrooms that only kills locusts.
We had 3 helicopters, 1 aircraft, and more than 150 people in the field in very remote areas.
Despite a 3-year effort by land and air, the locusts are still not under control, and people like Florentine now depend on food aid to help them survive. All this because of too much rain. We spend most of our lives at the mercy of our weather, but at big outdoor events, fate can be particularly cruel. It's not a nice day for a white wedding in Tennessee, but Ashley and Zach managed to keep smiling until it's time to run. Thanks to fast reactions, Ashley gets floored, but a giant branch misses everyone, and the happy couple are married. This Glastonbury festival begins as a scorcher, but a few hours in on day 2, the rain comes. Lee Parkinson shelters for hours. Rain can sound much worse in a tent, but this is not one of those times.
This is actually getting deeper. That tent there is now almost submerged. They've lost the tent.
The ground has been baked hard by the previous heat wave, giving the water nowhere to drain away. Within hours, the water is over 3 foot in places.
Everything I own is in that tent. Everything you own in that tent. I managed to save some pants.
The notorious Glastonbury toilets overflow.
It's actually sewage now.
But organisers put a brave face on it from the warmth of their Winnebagos, pointing out that under 100 tents have been washed away. It's all right for some. But this is minor compared to what happened at the 2011 Indiana State Fair. "60-mile-per-hour winds have been forecast, and organisers are about to announce an evacuation order, but it is too late. The stage's 2-ton ballast anchors are simply torn off the footing, with tragic results. "58 people were injured and 7 killed in this disaster. At this youth football match in Central America, the spectators haven't spotted the dust devil forming behind them. To the players' credit, the game continues, and the Reds even try to sneak in a cheeky goal. These French tourists have come to the Alps for the rock climbing, but what they've got is a lot of rock moving. A spring melt avalanche becomes a huge landslide. It happens at the most dangerous time of year, April, when the snow over 10,000 foot thaws. In some areas, they take place every 10 minutes. Strangely, none of the climbers realize it could happen on their side of the valley too. These divers are on a luxury holiday in the Maldives, but a strong current meets the sea wall and sends the divers shooting down. The videographer's depth alarm goes off at 130 feet. They don't have the air to go any deeper. Soon, even the air bubbles are sent downwards, so the divers have no chance. Their only hope is to cling on to the sea wall, if they can reach it. Even then, there's not a lot to hold on to, and no obvious way up. One of the divers is swept away from the group. The others swim along the wall until they come out of the current and surface. The lost diver is later found bobbing in the sea, over 330 feet away, but alive. Proving that even in paradise, the weather can have us begging for mercy. Coming up, as Louisiana drowns, catastrophic floods raise corpses from the dead. We use time-lapse and slow motion to see the forces causing our weather. Trucks are tossed around like toys in Texas.
I remember thinking to myself, man, this place could come apart.
And we watch the weather make mincemeat of our homes and buildings.
This thing is not letting up.
Louisiana, USA. On the 8th of August 2016, it began raining, up to 3 inches per hour, and it didn't stop. The storm was not thought major enough to be given a name, but a week later it dumped more rain than Hurricane Katrina. 22 counties across the state were now flooded. In the state capital, Baton Rouge, residents with boats organized themselves into the Cajun Navy, a group of citizen rescue volunteers. 27-year-old David Fung and his brother-in-law Jay Dixon had been alerted to a woman in a red convertible who had been washed away and was sinking in deep waters.
The car was floating. he knew that she was headed for a ditch.
Every second, I was watching it. The car was sinking pretty steady.
They were alerted 5 minutes ago, and they had no idea if it was too late. Up near Greensburg, roads were being washed away, often while trucks were driving on them.
Oh, well, I hope whoever was in that wreck ain't get hurt. I'm not gonna get too close because the road's still cracking up.
But as a local news anchor was preparing his report, he witnessed the power of the flood firsthand.
You think this water isn't strong here? We're only talking about inches across this. We're only talking about inches across this road here on Highway 10. Take a look right down there.
Nobody could reach the truck driver. He was left stranded on his roof for 10 hours.
How that driver's doing.
Back in Baton Rouge, David and Jay reached the convertible and could hear noises coming from inside.
Do you have something?
Yeah.
Get out! Give me a knife. Give me a knife.
53-year-old Haley Brule couldn't open the door because of the water pressure, but her car was filling up.
Watch your eyes. Go. Breaking the window.
It was only a matter of minutes before she was gonna die or drown in the vehicle.
Go.
Oh my God, I'm drowning.
We're coming. We're coming. I'm gonna break this window. We're breaking the window. Do you have a knife? You do that. Tell me if you have a knife. I'll find it.
My instincts were something had to be done now. I was just hoping that she wasn't buckled in. Seconds seemed like minutes as the rescue was happening.
Give my dog. Give my dog.
Haley's dog was still in the sunken car.
I'll go down. Hang on.
I can't get the dog.
Stop.
Here. Oh. I can't get the dog.
Sass.
Maybe she's gone.
No, she better not be. I better have her.
I got your dog. Oh.
Oh, you.
Go, swim to the boat. Swim to the boat.
Earlier, the flood had taken her trailer home, and she'd lost all her worldly possessions, apart from her pooch.
Y'all the best thing I ever seen. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Glad you made it.
Over 100,000 homes were now damaged or underwater, and the state governor declared a state of emergency. The National Guard was called in to help people stranded in their homes. Some houses were under 6 feet of water, too deep even for the trucks.
30 people in the aircraft.
30,000 people had to evacuate. Schools and gymnasiums became makeshift homes, but most shelters did not allow pets and animals, so owners were left with nowhere to take them. Darrell Watson and Mike Anderson run a rescue home for dogs and were patrolling the waters for the thousands of animals left behind.
Everything was kind of winding down, and I told Darrell, let's just go make one more round through everything.
Alerted by the barking, they found a survivor, stranded for up to 3 days. It was a pit bull puppy balancing on a fence.
I guess that's probably more distressing, I guess, to me than seeing humans sometimes, because an animal basically needs a human.
Oh, he's up on that fence, huh?
The puppy was just 3 months old.
Come on, Bob.
What about it, man? Huh? What about it, buddy? Huh? You happy to be in there?
But there was still more barking down the street. Up in Greensburg, there had been grisly reports of washed-up coffins floating down the street. And as the water subsides, Lachelle Barker heads down to the cemetery.
Oh, I just don't want to see nobody bad. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Somebody's grave is sitting up, head up. They got graves all the way over there in the bushes, y'all. Oh my God.
Coffins are filled with air, so in waterlogged soil or a flood, they float. Most of these came from shallow graves of 3 feet or less. Coroner Zeb Johnson has the job of identifying corpses and returning them to their rightful grave.
You know, people find them in their backyards. They find them in the middle of the fields. They find them floating on the riverbanks or in the rivers.
Oh, Lord. It's bubbling. What that mean when it bubbles?
When you see bubbles around the edge of the grave, water is actually getting into the vault itself. It will cause the casket to actually become a boat and it will float. We have found those as many as 30 or 40 miles away from their grave spaces. Some of these vaults are so full of water, they weigh almost 5,000 pounds. If you're in a boat trying to recover a 5,000 pound floating concrete block, it is pretty difficult. You have to go through each and every one of them, you know, by hand, very, very slowly and methodically, making sure that you find all of the pieces of bones or whatever remains there are.
Across the state, the flood disinterred 700 coffins. Zeb and other coroners had to sift through them all. Daryl and Mike located the second barking dog.
So.
It was another pit bull puppy.
Where you at, boy? Huh? You ready to get out? Yeah, man's done eat him up and everything, son. Come on, man. Good. There you go. There you go. Huh?
I know the puppy walked around a little bit when we got him in the boat, but once the second one, the larger dog, when we got him in, he basically just laid right there.
Yeah.
He didn't, they were both definitely worn out.
Oh, I got the whole damn family in here now.
To say they would have died, I mean, it wouldn't have been a healthy situation for either one of them.
It took 2 weeks for the rain to finally stop. The emotional toll on the coroners and many families was devastating.
None of us were right, you know, afterwards. It affected us psychologically and it changed our lives dramatically. There were divorces and people that left their jobs and they moved on to different things because mentally and psychologically, it just wore you down.
146,000 houses were left in ruins. The flood hit areas that had never flooded before. And with insurance rates at under 1% in places, some families lost everything.
I know that you cannot take Mother Nature lightly. I mean, she will do what she wants to do.
13 people lost their lives, making this unnamed storm the most deadly to hit the USA since Hurricane Sandy. Giant and relentless atmospheric forces generate our weather. But to really see them in action, you have to watch at the right speed. This is a supercell storm in Kansas, USA, filmed over 1 hour and sped up. They are giant rotating thunderstorms that can be 6 miles high. If the horizontal rolling sides drop down and touch the ground, they will become tornadoes, which happens in about 30% of supercell storms. This storm did produce a tornado, but like most, it was small, remote, and caused no human damage. Air gets cooler the higher up you go, right? Not always. Sometimes cool air can be trapped by a layer of warm air, creating an incredible carpet of cloud, like this one on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. It's called a temperature inversion. The ground level air is kept cool by the cold rock below, and an insulating layer of cloud which holds it in. The air above is warmed by the sun, but as it comes into contact with the cooler air below, it condenses to create more cloud, flowing in this remarkable waterfall effect. The underside of a cloud layer can tell you a lot when sped up. Our winds are not flat and featureless, but roll across our landscapes like waves of water, shaping the clouds above and below them. Clouds shaped like this are called asperities and are our newest category of cloud, created in 2015 by enthusiasts from the lovably named Cloud Appreciation Society. These are anvil crawler lightning strikes, filmed at 1/4 speed in Wisconsin, USA. It's sometimes called spider lightning because of the way it scampers across the sky. The crawler starts from the ground and shoots up into the underside of a giant flat cloud system called an anvil. The crawler spreads along the underside of the thunderstorm, discharging as it goes. One of the rarest forms of lightning is the superbolt. It's 100 times brighter than usual and is estimated to happen in only 1 in a million strikes. This was filmed at 1/4 speed, and 1 billion joules of energy is released in a fraction of a second, enough to power 60 homes for a day. It gets so hot that the channel of air is turned to steam afterwards. The biggest waves in our oceans are actually tidal, and the biggest tide in the world is the Bay of Fundy in Canada. The estuary funnels in and out up to 55 feet of water twice a day. This video shows just one rise and fall from sunrise to sunset. Boats here spend half their time on the seabed, and the estuary is full of rip currents and whirlpools, proving that when it comes to sheer power, our weather is unrivaled. Dallas, Texas, 2012. Trucker Rich Sandman was on his first day of a new job when something caught his eye out of the window.
Dang, I'd never seen one in real life before, man. At first I felt, wow, that is awesome. I've seen a tornado. It's on my bucket list. Not to begin one, but to see one.
Oh, here's my first picture of a tornado. Look at that. You can see the stuff flying from here.
Yeah, you can, man. I remember making a statement. I go, there is no way that thing is gonna make a beeline straight for us.
22 tornadoes were spotted tearing through Dallas in a multi-headed outbreak, generating 150 mile-per-hour winds. This commuter was driving into town when he was stopped in his tracks.
Look at all that stuff that just came up off the ground. Oh, it just destroyed something on the ground. Just absolutely destroying stuff on the ground. And look at that. That is unbelievable.
Pretty close. About a half a mile away, it looks like. All kinds of debris up in there.
The debris was bits of homes and buildings. Another driver stepped out of his car to monitor the path of this EF3 twister.
Hopefully it's going to miss the high school.
Southern Dallas was evacuated as tornado after tornado battered the district. Terrified residents, like this mother and daughter, found themselves with no time left to escape.
Get in the house! Come on, it's coming over!
In the nearby Schneider truck terminal, Rich was also caught out, with no storm shelter to hide in.
Somebody from Schneider came in, opened the door, and said, we have to go downstairs, and we have to go downstairs now. The tornado is here. That tornado is about to hit us direct.
Back way. There it is. Wow. Here we go. Right there. Right there. Are you good as right here? It's here.
I remember thinking to myself, man, this place could come apart. What am I gonna do? The feeling was pretty strange. I really can't explain it except to somewhere between disbelief and fear.
A third of a mile away, spectators witnessed the moment one of the tornadoes hit the truck yard.
Oh my gosh. Holy.
Drivers from the truck yard filmed 6-ton trucks flying next to the building where Rich was hiding.
It just took those 18-wheelers and tossed them around like it was dominoes. If an 18-wheeler was picked up and tossed around like nothing, if it would have landed on top of the building, I don't know what would stop it before it hit the ground.
All the trucks missed Rich and his new colleagues, and afterwards they saw how lucky they'd been.
The amount of damage, I mean, we're talking an area of 5 football fields, maybe, that was full of 18-wheelers, and it just looked like somebody picked them up like dice and tossed them. A lot of 18-wheelers landed in the road. I probably spent the next 45 seconds trying to pick my jaw up.
The tornado outbreak cost almost $1 billion in damages. Miraculously, there were no fatalities, but Rich had a hell of a first day at work.
And I figured after that, if I can get through day one, the rest has got to be cake.
When the weather turns nasty, we turn to our buildings for shelter, but sometimes they're not a lot of help. This modern hospital in Nebraska is no match for a flash flood. Hundreds of staff and patients have to be evacuated to upper floors, while below them this dining area is washed away completely. And our homes are even more vulnerable. Record rainfall in Boulder, Colorado triggers a landslide and flash flooding. Locals can do nothing to stop torrents of mud and water filling their homes. 9 inches of rain in one day triggers one of the worst floods to ever hit the region, and it destroys hundreds of houses. But this resident is left with his precious piano to play away the pain. Tacoma, Indiana. Brandon Mobley is sheltering in a restaurant from a tornado heading into town. Staff and customers have evacuated, but minutes ago he was working on a roof across the street. The building opposite is made of bricks.
Oh my God, Starbucks just got blown over. There's people in there.
The customers are sheltering at the back, and incredibly no one is hurt. Tornado winds are so concentrated that Brandon's building is unharmed. The tornado then enters a suburban street, where Mark Sager is filming from his home. As the twister bores down, leaves and branches begin to fly, but he is braced for the worst. Despite his neighbor's chimney coming a cropper, his basketball stand valiantly holds out. But the same cannot be said for the side of his house. All in all, though, not a terrible result. This Iowa resident gets excited when an impressive hailstorm begins to lash down on Lake Carter.
Holy, we got some hail!
But he's about to find out. Even locking yourself inside is no guarantee of safety.
Oh my God, where do I go?
This monsoon begins to unleash golf ball-sized ice bombs at up to 100 miles per hour, and the cracks are already beginning to show.
Oh, I'm shaking. Oh my God, have mercy on us.
It's only a matter of time before this monster hail makes an entrance.
We got broken windows. Shit's broken in the kitchen. Oh, another window broke. Kitchen is done. Oh, another window. This thing is not letting up.
The only thing he can do is call Dad.
Oh, Dad, you better call the insurance. Oh my God, it is coming in huge.
And dispense some solid advice.
Oh, you better hide. Go find an underpass. Yeah.
And when the weather dies down enough to venture outside, just remember that Mother Nature can still catch you out. In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature let rip. We've seen how helpless we can be. We've seen her tear down, destroy, and laugh in our faces. And next time, there will be more, because deadly weather stops for no one.